Thursday morning. You know what that means. And he's on the microphone with Brian and Gene. The Morning Sickness Show is where I want to be. Strumming my guitar, soft and gently. Where bacon rules all, and Bloody Marys are tall, and Pearl Street beers chase them all. I'm here to sing to you, tell you have a great day, and don't forget to come rock out with Tug Sunday.
Our good buddy Andy Hughes with his version of the Thursday song. Going to be another beautiful day today. A little cooler.
Yeah, upper 60s, is that right?
Yeah, upper 60s, maybe low 70s. Lots of sunshine. And then back near 80 tomorrow. We're looking at high 80s by Sunday. Might even hit 90.
I have teenage young girls, so the UV is at 8 today. So it's a perfect day to lay outside and go to the beach and get some tanning done.
All right.
Yeah.
I did see people on the beach on Tuesday or Monday.
Been packed.
When we, well, it wasn't packed on Monday, I can tell you that. But there was several people there as we went across the bridge. Saw a couple of girls out in their front lawn yesterday riding home from work.
Yeah, tanning's a big thing right now. Trying to, anyway. Pick up some color before
I think I got a little
graduation.
I got a little farmer tan going on there.
Look at you.
Well, I was on the bike for a couple hours yesterday afternoon, just cruising around. Yeah, not to mention mowing the lawn in the 80-degree sun on Tuesday.
Good weather all weekend long for Mom, is that right? Mom's Day?
Looks like it's going to stay dry and going to be warm. So if you got an old mom, you know, mine at the end of her life, you know, frail and, you know, had been, you know, her body had been sucked dry of all sorts of its character from cancer. And she loved to be out in the sun in the 89, and I hated it. So it was, so I had to suffer. But
sit outside, go outside, take a picnic, have a picnic with Mom.
We got a lot of stuff to get to today. It's Hypothetical Thursday, so we'll be asking each other hypothetical questions later on. You're going first, so I know you're not prepared.
Awesome.
But you got an hour to prepare. Office Cora will join us just after 8 a.m.
Love that gal.
Find out what she's up to this weekend in the 715.
Can't wait.
Bad news, happy music. Daily check-ins. You can find all of our contact info online at rockmornings.com if you do want to check in with us. We've got some music from Nothing More and Van Halen on the way.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene on your rock station.
With the number one pick in the 2025 National Catholic League Pope Draft, the Saints have traded to the Cardinals. And with that number one pick, the Vatican Cardinals select wide redeemer Pier Battista Pizzaballa, Jerusalem.
Listen to this crowd. Oh, baby.
Little creative editing there for the NFL draft and the conclave draft, if you will. Which,
Black smoke, though, again, right?
Yeah.
No decision.
Apparently, still no decision. I guess they just had another one. 133 Cardinals gathering again today in the Sistine Chapel, where they've been casting their ballots to make one of them the next leader of the Catholic Church, and its more than 1 billion members worldwide. Black smoke. Fumata nera in Italian, rose from the chapel chimney on Thursday morning, signifying the end of the second round of voting in 3 ballots with no consensus.
2/3 of the vote, like majority, I guess.
But yeah, so they'll go again this afternoon, right? Isn't that the deal?
Yes.
Okay. Also, everybody talking about...
They'll break for lunch.
The conclave, everybody talking about the Pope and who it's going to be, some favorites. There's betting odds. You can bet on DraftKings, I believe.
I may or may not be in a Pope pool.
You're in a Pope pool, all right.
I might be, yes.
Well, somebody was talking about the Cardinals and apparently had some naughty stuff to say.
The one thing we know they're not doing is checking Instagram because their devices have all been confiscated.
I believe the kids call it raw dogging it if you're going to go through a long period of time with no electronic device.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Yeah, well, he's not wrong.
Yeah, the issue with that is raw dogging is also
I know.
a term for sex without a condom on. I believe they also use the term barebacking on this television program when they're talking to the... Yeah, so the conclave getting a little spicy there on some TV news programs. But that's just people who don't understand that some words have more than one meaning. Another thing that is interesting about the conclave, I don't know if you heard about this, but it makes perfect sense. Because, you become a priest, and I have no idea. I'm speaking out of turn
completely from the outside.
I have no idea how any of
be more outside.
I have no idea how any of this works.
Okay.
But I'm guessing. I'm spitballing here. Follow me. So you want to be a priest, right?
Yes.
So you got to go to some preschool, right?
Yes.
And probably lots of studying and all that crap.
Yes.
Got to know the Bible front and back, all the books, all that stuff. Know all the processes.
Sure,
swinging the thing with the smoke and the water and the babies.
There's a lot to it.
There's a lot going on. It's not like you just throw on the robe and say some hymns and you're good to go.
That's definitely not it. Theology.
Right. Then you become the priest, and then after X amount of years, you do some good stuff, and you get promoted, and the next thing you know is you're a cardinal.
Takes a lot to get there.
I'm not saying it's...
I'm
shortening the process here, just for the sake of being on the
That's the
radio.
next...
Eventually, you know...
A job promotion.
You get a promotion at some point down the road, you become and then you get to go to this thing and vote. Now, let's just say, for instance, we heard there's 130 some odd of these guys there, right, voting. Mm-hmm. Let's say you just became a cardinal in the last, year or two, right?
You're not even probably that.
You go to the conclave, you don't have a shot at it, but you don't know how it works. So apparently some of these cardinals are watching the movie Conclave, which just came out, to get tips on what goes down at this thing. Because it's pretty accurate from what everyone's saying. An unnamed cleric who's involved in the process of the conclave says that some of the cardinals, the Catholic cardinals, are watching the movie Conclave for pointers. A movie about the selection of a new pope based on the 2016 novel of the same name written by Robert Harris.
Remarkably, it's very accurate is what they're saying. It's actually...
The cleric, the so-called insider, says some have watched it in the cinema. The majority of the cardinals who have chose a replacement for Pope Francis were appointed by him, so they'd never experienced a conclave before.
Well,
so again, if you're new to the game...
It's rare. I mean, it doesn't...
So I'm not... I wasn't trying to be mean. I'm shortening the process here. But apparently some of these guys are getting their info from a movie.
I got to watch that. My girlfriend said it's really, really good, and I have not seen it. So I think it's maybe this weekend.
So we'll see what happens if we get some white smoke this afternoon. Douglas County Sheriff's Office deputies called to a residence yesterday at about 4:30 in the town of Superior. A report of an out-of-control juvenile who was throwing and breaking items. The first deputy arriving on the scene encountered a 13-year-old boy on the back porch of the home. The boy reportedly told the deputy that he would have to shoot him and then retreated back into the house. Moments later, authorities said the boy came back with what appeared to be a long gun rifle. Deputy took cover and around the corner, and shot rang out, so the kid did shoot at the deputy. Proceeded to remove the 911 caller away from the scene while the other responding deputies secured the area, positioned themselves around the house. Over the next hour, the boy reportedly emerged from the house and fired the gun towards the deputies, with one deputy reporting that he heard a shot go over his head. The sheriff's office said the boy fired at least 4 times. He left the house unarmed, entered the garage, reappeared wearing a black tactical vest. This is a 13-year-old boy, by the way. At which point he was then taken into custody. No injuries were reported.
So he was taken into custody alive. That's really good news. It's really good news.
The sheriff there, Matthew Izzard, said in a statement that he commends the deputies involved for their professionalism in bringing a peaceful conclusion to what could have been a tragic outcome for the 13-year-old boy in custody after firing several shots at deputies inside a northwestern Wisconsin home yesterday.
Scary.
And you probably saw the photo of this guy on social media yesterday. A lot of people were sharing the story. This is out of Madison. The Wisconsin man accused of intentionally driving into a family and killing the mother as an act of revenge has now died in prison, in jail.
Suicide, is that correct?
That's the assumption. I don't know if they've released anything official yet, but 2 trusted sources confirming that Jeffrey Endres was found unresponsive in his cell and died yesterday. Online records show that he is no longer listed as a resident of the Dane County Jail. Sheriff's office confirming that an inmate died but did not confirm the identity. Sheriff's office said that first responders attempted to save his life, but he was pronounced dead at the jail. Madison Police Department saying that detectives processed the scene, collected evidence, spoke with jail staff. Autopsy scheduled for today. He was charged on Monday with first-degree intentional homicide, 2 counts of attempted first-degree intentional homicide, and mistreatment of animals causing death. He intentionally hit a family with his vehicle while they were out for a walk at the end of April, killing the mother and the family dog. The criminal complaint said that he sped up and crashed into the family in Cottage Grove, a suburb of Madison. Dr. Cammie Hansen, well-known chiropractor in the community, died from her injuries after being taken to the hospital. She's a wife, mother of 3 boys, owner of a family chiropractic office there in the Madison area.
Mm-hmm.
Deadly crash and act of revenge following a sensitive crime that occurred between Hansen's children and Endress's child. So it sounds like the kids were all mixed up in something going on.
That's the
maybe
part that I couldn't
boyfriend, girlfriend.
Really
I mean, when you're sensitive, you think, maybe.
That's the part this morning where I was trying to figure out exactly.
Officials did not give any further details about what happened between the children. But now the mother's dead, the dog's dead, and this guy's dead, and the parents are left, or the kids are left without a mother, and this guy's kid or kids left without a father.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awful.
Yes, totally. Completely.
And also in the state of Wisconsin, animal sellers, aquatic animal sellers from North Carolina and Indiana, convicted this year for shipping illegal invasive crayfish species to Wisconsin, according to the DNR. Carolina Biological Supply, which is based in Burlington, North Carolina, and Aquatic Arts, based in Indianapolis, pleading no contest to well over a dozen counts of transporting invasive species, according to online court records. The DNR alleged that the 2 companies shipped invasive crayfish to schools, residents, and businesses across 8 Wisconsin counties. Shipments investigated by the DNR conservation wardens. The Carolina Biological Supply Company cited 20 times in Brown County, while Aquatic Arts cited 20 times across 8 counties, including twice in Sauk County. Yeah, all sorts of different ones. Devil crayfish, northern Clearwater crayfish, White River crayfish. So, yeah. Those crayfish, by the way, I listed are some of the native crayfish species here, but the companies out of Indianapolis and out of North Carolina shipping invasive crayfish species, and now big trouble.
Yeah.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Get to sports in a couple of minutes. If you've got something you need, you can find us online at rockmornings.com. Right now, it's Van Halen.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at rockmornings.com.
Hot Ford teacher from Van Halen on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. The Brew Crew last night.
This ball hit pretty well to left. Dubon back on it near the warning track and puts it away for the final out. Hader had a little bit of a scare there with the bases loaded, but he gets the final out of this one, and the Astros win 9-1 to take 1 game here in Milwaukee.
Yeah, Josh Hader back on the bump for the Astros, not the Brewers. And the Astros get the 9-1 win. Brew Crew off today in Tampa tomorrow night. 6:05 first pitch for 3 against the Rays. NBA last night.
There it goes. They're not going to use the timeout. Plenty of time here. It's Tatum. Robinson's on him. Tatum maneuvering. Oh, the ball knocked away. Another great defensive play for the Knicks. They've got it. They've won it. New York has gone up 2 games to none.
Mikal Bridges sealing another 20-point comeback for the Knicks with his second straight game-ending steal. The Knicks stunning the Celtics again last night, 91-90. Now they have a 2-0 lead in the Eastern Conference semifinals, and the series will head to New York for the next couple of games. In the late game last night, the Thunder all over the Nuggets, 149-106. They tie up that series at a game apiece. Tonight in the NBA, you've got 1 game. It's the Golden State Warriors at the Minnesota Timberwolves. That's at 7:30 on TNT. The Warriors, of course, up 1-0 in the series, and they'll be without Steph Curry for at least a week. Diagnosed with a grade 1 left hamstring strain, suffered during Game 1 of the team's Western Conference semifinals against the T-Wolves on Tuesday. Curry underwent an MRI yesterday, and he'll be reevaluated in a week. But he'll
be out.
He'll be out until sometime next week, maybe even longer. Over on the ice last night.
Here's Reinhardt back to Jones. He sent it wide. It'll ricochet out. And the Leafs have a 2-0 lead in this battle of the Atlantic.
Maple Leafs going up 2-0 on the Panthers thanks to a 4-3 win in the late game last night. The Dallas Stars all over the Winnipeg Jets 3-2. They take a 1-0 series lead. Tonight in the NHL, Carolina at Washington, 6 p.m. on ESPN for Game 2 of that series. Hurricanes up 1-0, followed by Edmonton at Vegas, 8:30 on ESPN. Game 2 of that series. Oilers up 1-0. Over in the NFL, the Cowboys made a big trade yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
Searching for a number 2 wide receiver opposite their Pro Bowler, CeeDee Lamb. They got George Pickens from the Pittsburgh Steelers.
How about them Cowboys?
They're excited? Is that what
I don't know if they're excited. We'll see. Cowboys and Steelers agreeing to a trade yesterday. It'll send Pickens to Dallas for a 2026 third-round pick. The Cowboys will also send another pick in 2027 to the Steelers and get back a 2027 sixth-round pick. So a little bit of swapping around some picks, plus, of course, Pickens going to the Cowboys. Sports on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. We've got some star set in just a bit. Doc said, please do not vote in the newest Cardinal. Hashtag plot twist. Is he referring to me in particular? I have no. I don't know what he's kind of. I mean, I know we were talking about that, but I don't.
We were. It's not up. There's no voting for the general public.
No.
He knows that.
Yeah, but I don't know. Trying to figure out what the point of
maybe
his text
there was
in his mind, it probably sounded right, just like when he says Happy 4th of July. But his big dumbass doesn't know what the hell he's saying. Please do not vote in the newest Cardinal. Hashtag plot twist. Did I misspeak and say they were voting in a Cardinal?
Maybe. No, I didn't think so. But maybe he was also talking.
He does talk to text a lot.
Yes, and maybe that's not exactly what
it obviously doesn't matter. He still can't drive worth a damn.
Stop that. He's excellent, and you know it.
Find all of our contact info online at rockmornings.com. We'll get to that star set next.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene on your rock station.
This Mother's Day, give Mom what she really wants. Welcome to the Napping Place, the only spa where moms experience the rarest indulgence known to womankind. Forget massages and flowers. Here we specialize in complete, uninterrupted unconsciousness. Sure, dads do it every day. We just made it a luxury, the Napping Place. Book now before she wakes up.
Dude, I'm telling you, the nap store, when the kids were young, I thought it would be a great idea to have like a daycare, essentially, or a pop-in, right? Not like somebody had to hire on a regular, but like you could just go in, drop them off, they play so they get tired, and you go into a room with like spa music and the lights are low and you just nap and someone else takes care of them. Where you don't have to arrange the daycare in advance and all of that stuff, right? Like a pop-in nap store.
Never took off, though, did it?
No, it didn't. Nap store.
Sorry. Mother's Day on Sunday. Don't forget Mom. Get her something nice. Leave her alone. Let her sleep in. That's what we found out yesterday, that moms really, what they really, really, truly want, according to a poll that we read, they want to sleep in. They don't want to be bothered.
Yeah, if you've got littles, that extra time to yourself where you're not having to deal with that. They also don't want to cook.
Well, that whole thing in the commercials where the kids come in and they got the breakfast and mom looks so happy, that's not true. That's a lie. They're selling you a lie. It's all fabricated, woven into secrecy and disgustingness. They really want you to leave the house, leave them alone, be quiet, and then maybe later on when she wakes up and has had a shower or a hot bath or something, make her a nicer meal or take her out somewhere nice.
Now, I always enjoyed breakfast in bed, but I always got to sleep in, and then they'd come in with breakfast after I'd already woke up, like, hey,
they would
are you
wait
awake?
for sounds of stirring.
My husband would. He'd say, are you awake now? Yeah. Here's your coffee. We'll be in a little bit. And I loved that.
Right, but what you really, truly loved is the not being woken up.
Yeah, he got up with them and made the breakfast and did the stuff and then brought it in. It was great.
That's on Sunday. Today is National Coconut Cream Pie Day.
I love coconut cream pie.
No,
homemade, not like store bought, but homemade. Ugh,
I don't.
Yum.
I don't hate coconut, but in very small doses. Like I'll have a Almond Joy or a what's the other one? Mounds. Like maybe once a year.
Those are super coconutty, though. I have this homemade coconut cream pie. It's really creamy, but it's barely coconutty.
Today is also National Give Someone a Cupcake Day.
I don't have a cupcake.
Thanks.
Sorry. I have a
You were
apple.
in line for a coffee that caused you to be late this morning,
yes,
and no cupcake.
No.
They don't have cupcakes there?
I brought an apple.
A muffin. I'll take a muffin. It's close. I mean, it's basically a cupcake with no frosting.
Same shape.
All right. It's also Have a Coke Day, National Have a Coke Day, because it's the
Coconut Smile, that?
Yeah, it's the anniversary of the invention of Coca-Cola. No Socks Day.
I don't have socks on.
I have socks on because I'm riding the motorcycle. So, and World Donkey Day. So if you've got a donkey in your life,
say thanks.
Give him something extra nice to eat today.
Carrot is
what's like a treat for a donkey?
A cupcake.
Can you give him cupcakes?
Sure.
What about like a hamburger? Do donkeys eat hamburgers? I suppose they probably eat anything, right?
Yeah.
They're kind of like sheep, or
I would think so.
In that sense. Okay. Yeah. Sunday, though, Mother's Day. Don't forget about Mom. Tonight on television, the 60th Academy of Country Music Awards. It's on Amazon, actually. At 7 o'clock, Reba McEntire will be your hostess. Ella Langley, Zach Top, and the Red Clay Strays have all been named new female artist, male artist, and group of the year. So if you already know who wins the awards, what's the point of watching the awards? But yeah, the 60th Annual Academy of Country Music Awards on Amazon today. Fourth season finale of Ghosts on CBS, followed by the second season finale of Elsbeth. Over on the C-Dub tonight, a new 1-hour special. Bill O'Reilly's 100 Days of Trump. Are You Better Off?
Say, baby, put down that pipe and get my pipe up.
Yeah, on the CW tonight, starting at 8 o'clock, Bill O'Reilly's 100 Days of Trump. Are You Better Off?
She obediently performed oral sex on him.
I don't think that's what he's talking about tonight.
No, but you never know. It could slip in there. I mean, O'Reilly's got the habit of doing things off the cuff.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. Okay, I don't know. Whatever it is, it's not right on the teleprompter. I don't know what that is. I've never seen that.
No, there is. We are going to do Sting, yeah.
Okay, but now I can't read it. There's no words on it.
Okay. Right? Sure.
There's no words there to play us out. What does that mean? To play us out?
Sting is going to do. It's a video.
What does that mean?
Sting video.
What is
for credits?
I don't know what that means. To play us out. What does that mean? To end the show?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, go.
In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it.
Okay. In.
Can't do it.
5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. And we will leave you with I can't do it. Okay. We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. It. Do it live. I'll write it, and we'll do it live. Thing sucks.
In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks again for watching. We'll leave you with Sting and a cut off his new album. Take it away.
You know, you think for a guy who's been in the entertainment industry and, television and media for as long as he had been at that point, he would know what to play us off was. Like, he would have heard that phrase, or he would have come across it, but no, he had no clue what the hell they wrote, those producers. I got to be honest, that's how I get. I go Krakatoa immediately. And then I calm down and I'm okay. But in the heat of it all, I just can't deal. I can't deal. So I feel you, Bill O'Reilly.
Yeah.
Tonight on the C-Dub, a 1-hour special, Bill O'Reilly's 100 Days of Trump. Are You Better Off? Season 2 premiere of Conan O'Brien Must Go. That's on Max today. Also, the 3rd season premiere of Criminal Minds Evolution on Paramount Plus. There's a new series on Netflix that's premiering today. It's called Forever. It's a TV series based on a Judy Blume novel about a couple of young athletes who fall in love.
All right.
Also, 911, new episodes of 911, Law & Order, Dr. Odyssey, Found, and Grey's Anatomy. If you're staying up really late tonight, Jimmy Fallon's got Shakira. Also, Melissa Rivers, Aaron Doherty, and Joe List. That's who's going to be on with Fallon tonight. Kimmel's got Charlize Theron, Taylor, Frankie Paul, Whitney Levitt, and Kylie, excuse me. Bill Gates, Paula Poundstone, and Evie McGee Colbert going to be on with Stephen Colbert. Natasha Lyonne and Ben Mendelsohn going to be on with Seth Meyers. So that's what's on the boob tube today and tonight. There's also, of course, NBA action.
Yeah, there's sports. Other than that,
TNT,
it's too nice. It's too nice for TV.
A couple of games on ESPN,
great
NHL.
Great weather.
Yeah. Fantastic weather today.
And we're looking at what, Saturday and Sunday in the 80s, mid 80s for the weekend.
Upper 80s on Sunday. We're looking at almost 90 on Sunday with lots of sunshine. So yeah, I've been surviving right now with a couple of fans, one in the window, one on the floor, kind of moving air around in the house. Down in the basement, it's comfortable. But upstairs, it's getting a little bit steamy upstairs, and I'm definitely going to be turning it on Friday night.
Yeah, they're saying into the 80s next week, and the dew point is going to rise a little bit, so it's going to feel a little bit more humid, more like June than May, actually, next week. But unseasonably warm for the weekend.
Looks like we got a bit of an explanation for Doc's text.
Tell me more.
Earlier, when we were talking about the conclave and sort of the process, and some of the Cardinals apparently had been watching the movie Conclave to sort of get an idea of what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Doc texted in and said, please do not vote in the newest Cardinal, #plot twist. I said I had no idea what the hell he was talking about, and he said it was from the movie. So my guess is in the movie, maybe they elect a guy and it doesn't turn out so well.
Got it. I have to watch that.
I said I have no clue. I haven't seen it. He said, I'm sorry. I thought you already did.
Mm-mm.
Doc, how long have we known each other?
No.
How long have we known each other?
20 years.
Oh, over 20 years. I'm talking 22 years now. You think I'm going to sit down and watch movies about how the Pope gets elected? You think that's my jam?
Apparently it's good, though.
Is it directed by Michael Bay? Then no, I'm not watching it.
Okay, all right. Nobody transforms into a Pope.
That would be a Pope you don't want to elect. That's got Megatron written all over it. Pam texted in and said, I think Doc is referring to the movie. It's really good, but maybe not for everyone. I really thought it was well done.
Black smoke after 2 votes, I think it was. So, again, they're breaking for lunch, and they'll have another vote later on today.
Yeah, you're talking about a guy here that doesn't even believe in God. So what do I know about Catholic priests and conclaves?
Probably an interesting movie, though.
Somebody else texted in and said, no donkey, but lots of jackasses.
Ba-dum-bum.
World Donkey Day. Is a jackass a different species of a donkey? Is it all like one species? It's like
I thought that was just a
subgenre.
I thought that was just a nickname.
I think a jackass is its own animal, right?
Or is that a mule?
I think they're all different, right? And they're under like one umbrella.
Jackass is specifically a male donkey.
All right, so the female donkey is
not a jackass.
Not a jackass. This is like calling a dog a
Jenny.
bitch. A Jenny?
Mm-hmm.
Boy, the girl donkeys get out of it light. The dude's is like, hey, jackass.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Jenny.
Jack. Jenny.
Okay. Jenny ass?
Jeanettes?
Jeanettes?
Mm-hmm.
What's a group of Jennies? I'm spitballing. Queens of the Stone Age now.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at rockmornings.com.
July 5th. The last Ozzy/Black Sabbath show of all time.
And that's being streamed in some way, right? So everybody can...
I was actually thinking about this while I was listening to Ozzy there.
Yeah.
Do you think there are people lined up right now to get in?
No.
Well, just put this into context, right? This might be the greatest lineup in the history of mankind.
I agree with you.
For rock and roll bands.
I agree with you. And the whole...
I mean, we've had Woodstocks, we've had, Donington, we've had all these things, but, like, these bands are the greatest rock and roll bands that exist in our time, and they're paying tribute.
Homage.
to the granddaddy of them all. And if you want to be front and center up against the gate, I don't know how all this works. I don't know what the seating
We got to call Carl.
But
we need to call Carl.
Most shows, there's a GA area, right, where you can get in and you're right up against the gate, right up against the railing. And if you want to be that person, you got to get there early. You got to be camped out. We've seen it. People camped out in front of McDonald's when it first opened on the south side to get free Mickey D's.
Well, Geezer says he's already having...
Oh, he's got heart palpitations. He's nervous as hell. I read all about it.
Can't sleep, and it's like... Dude, just
well, you've been doing it for 60 years.
Breathe deep, because we
and you're not even playing a full set. You guys are just, you're jamming with some other great musicians. The other thing is, like, it must be a rotating stage, right, to get the, like, gear on and off? Because, like, Tool's not going to use the same equipment that, Aerosmith's using or whatever, whatever the bands are,
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to do all of it.
And that's usually how they do that with that many bands. They have the like a circular rotating, set or something like that. But, yeah, if you're like Susie Talks a Lot and you want to get in and see the show and be right up against the gate, you got to be there right now.
Well, and it's not even that big of a venue. I mean, it's big, but it's not that big. So it's going to be, and his hometown and all of that.
All the things.
It's lots of heartfelt stuff.
Yeah. July 5th. Everybody and their grandmother playing this show.
Don't you feel like a lot of the audience is going to be famous rich people who got tickets or, are figuring out a way to get there, and as opposed to,
I'm guessing that
where they
there'll
show
be
the stands and it's,
No, I don't think it's going to be like a Knicks game where you see Spike Lee on the sidelines
You
or something.
don't?
No, I think there's going to be, but you're not going to see them. It's not going to be like that. They're going to have their own pride. Those people don't want to be around the unwashed masses. They do not want that. You see shows where
sweet. Is that what you're saying?
Well, like we were at Metallica in Nashville, and Jack White was there. We never saw him, and we were down on the floor. We could have seen somebody. He was probably out in the crowd watching at some point somewhere, but and there were several others. Kirk Hammett was telling us there were several other musicians, famous musicians that he mentioned when we did the Q&A thing, and yeah. So, but they're not out there. They don't want to be bothered by us. You imagine somebody like Jack White coming out and people in the crowd, and he just wants to watch Metallica just like us. Now you got to take all these selfies, and you got to sign all these autographs, and if you don't do it for this guy, you got to do it for that. It's yesterday we talked about the Ducks at the baseball game.
Mm-hmm. They had to stop action for Mama and Dada.
Funny moment as the Ducks flew into the ballpark and decided to hang out for a little while.
Mom flew away. They had to kind of walk Dad out.
These ducks needed a little bit of help. It was Mama Duck and the babies. We've seen this. This happens all over the place, not just here in Wisconsin. Obviously, we've seen this.
Yeah, they stop traffic, or one of them falls through a grate into the. What is this one?
Police officer in Oregon stopping traffic on the interstate, very busy highway, to save a family of ducks earlier this week.
This cop stopped to herd some ducks. I don't know where he's going to go with them. OSP just stopped the freeway to get these ducks off. There we go. He got them all off. Good job.
Good job.
Southbound traffic, Interstate 205, coming to a stop as the trooper got out of his cruiser to rescue a family of ducks. There's, the big concrete Jersey barrier there, so they're having trouble figuring it all out. The trooper, Aaron Allman, patrolling the interstate just outside of Oregon City, spotted the mom and 2 or 3 of her ducklings trying to cross the 3-lane freeway. Stopped all the traffic, people in their cars getting video of him, helping him out, kind of shooing him over. And everybody's doing okay, as far as I know.
We had the mom and dad who have laid eggs in the planter here for years and years and years, and the one that we walked them down to the park, but the one duckling got away, remember? Yep. And it fell into the window well over here at the Charmont.
Oh, yeah.
Had to rescue it from the inside of that thing and then try to take it down to the park and catch up with reconnect them. Good for him.
Yeah. Elsewhere, People Magazine just did a big story on a woman in Washington State who apparently advertised her friend with her consent online a couple of years ago, trying to find her a boyfriend, right? Had been to the bars, had gone to the library, been to the laundromat.
More. So her best friend needs to have
They had to go through an entire application process to date her. So the friend set it all up. So I don't know if she's like
me.
I don't know if she's like an HR manager and she knows what it takes to ask the right questions. You're in a room with a penguin and walks in. What do you do?
Yeah.
Sell me this pen. That kind of stuff. But the guys had to go through an entire application process to date her friend, right? She had been up and down with her through the whole relationship thing.
I love this story. Where is this going?
People did the story because Alex, the woman who did the application process, recently posted a big update. Her friend Katie ended up meeting a guy from Florida named Nick. She lives in Washington State. He lives in Florida. Exact opposite ends of the country.
Couldn't be more
right.
opposite ends.
Yeah, other than maybe Alaska.
Coast and coast.
Well, things got serious, and he ended up packing up his stuff and leaving Florida behind and moved to Washington last year, and then last month they actually got married.
My name is Alex. I'm the girl who advertised my friend to the internet. I made a TikTok video for her about 3 years ago. Talked to a few guys from the application. Ended up hitting it off with a guy named Nick from Florida, whose friend actually filled out the application for him. I didn't actually think the relationship would work. We're in Washington. He's in Florida. About a year ago, he left his whole life in Florida, moved to be with my friend Katie. And in just a couple days, they will be married. I'm one of Katie's bridesmaids. roommates preparing for the couple days before she gets married. Nick and his friends are also in another house, and we're all here. Two worlds collided, all because I made a video for my friend advertising her to the internet. You never know where life's going to take you, but try things. Most importantly, advertise your friends, and don't be afraid.
So it was a TikTok video a couple of years ago, and she said when we made the TikTok together, it started out as a joke, but in the back of my mind, I was thinking, what if this could actually be something? I was definitely open to the idea, even felt a little wild. I figured it couldn't hurt to try. The video gaining traction. Applications from hopeful suitors began pouring in. Nick, a Floridian, whose friend had submitted his application without even telling him. Like, I got this buddy, nice guy, but yeah, well, they know who knows you better than your best friend.
He's never going to do anything like this. Right. I'm going to do it for him.
It's like the billboard people that put their stuff on a billboard, right? Yeah, I mean, if your best friend knows you better than anyone else, and maybe you're not an introvert or an extrovert, and you're not going to put yourself out there like that.
I'm going to do it for you.
Yeah. Nick, Katie, getting married. Friends from Florida, friends from Washington. 3 years later.
And hopefully those friends are the, best man and maid of honor.
Oh, you got to assume, yeah. But People Magazine doing a big write-up on that story. If you haven't seen it,
I like it.
Cute. Hypothetical Thursday gets started in just a couple minutes with Gene asking me a hypothetical question. You go first this week.
Now?
No, in a couple minutes.
Got it.
We're going to pay some bills.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Start your day with Rock Mornings.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene, as we do on Thursdays. We ask each other hypothetical questions. For Hypothetical Thursday, we'll get Office Cora into the mix after 8 o'clock, but you're going first today, Gene.
Okay. For as much as you and I hang out and talk all the time, you were gone last week to Nashville when this really bubbled to the surface. I'm not sure if it fits hypothetical or not, but you and I never had a chance to discuss it, either on the radio or off. Are you taking the gorilla or the 100 men?
I'm taking the 100 men. Are they... okay, wait. First of all...
No weapons.
No. No weapons?
No weapons.
Can we grab stuff that's around us?
No, I think
so.
It's
we're just in a room.
It's a fight. It's just a.
Okay.
It's just a hands, feet fight. You're not like equipped in all body armor with a.
No. My assumption was that if you're in the natural habitat of the gorilla, it has the advantage of escaping to the trees, right? But you also have the advantage as a man of picking up a club. I mean, I just saw a meme that actually kind of gave me pause. Because originally, when I saw it, I'm like, there's no doubt the gorilla wins. And we're talking the gorilla. You know what the gorilla is when you see it.
Yes.
The big, silver-backed, angry, real
100 times strong, throw cars.
Yeah,
gorilla.
all that stuff. That's what you're thinking of. But I saw a meme yesterday, I think, and it was like a cave drawing of men killing a woolly mammoth, which is like a giant elephant with tusks.
But they work together.
But they work together as a team, and they had spears or clubs or rocks or some form of weapon. And that was, before, that was Neanderthal days.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Before we started to really think and maybe be able to work as a team. We just kind of, kind of grunted and figured it out. And I thought, okay, well, yeah. If you give us the opportunity to grab some branches or a rock or something, then, but barehanded, I don't like our opportunity. Here's the thing. I don't know how vested is the gorilla going to be in the whole thing. You know what I mean?
Oh, I didn't ask.
Like, he may pummel enough people, and then if he bites off 10 dudes' faces, are the rest of the 90 guys going to want to go in there? And,
well, you have to be willing to have the sacrificial lambs. They have to.
You got to know people in the front. It's just like a war, right?
Yeah,
just like the old timey wars. The guys in the front are getting killed right away.
100 of us are game, right? And we know that some of us aren't going to come out of this okay because he's going to pop heads off.
Well, and look at
throw people around, and then maybe the men could. Or people,
the issue is that you have to try to pig pile on this thing to get it down. Because if you can't stop its motion, its inertia, it's going to kill you. It's going to grab you. It's going to rip your arms off.
How are you killing it, right? That's the other thing.
Well, you have to hit it so many times, kick it, punch it. I don't think you can choke a gorilla. I don't think you can get your arm around its neck. I don't think you can do it as a man. I mean, you have to be like, and okay, what if you're like Shaq or Butterbean or Tyson. You know what I mean? Are we throwing people like that in there? Skilled fighters, Nate Diaz? Are we putting those kind of guys? Or is it just me? You know, like
regular guys or regular people?
I mean, if you're putting in like
the most
Dan Severn
best
or like
the best,
yeah.
like strongest, most
then I would
powerful.
Then I would take men. I would take men.
Tyson's in there.
It would be
Biden
it would be close,
here.
but you know, there's something about some of those guys, man. They're wild animals in their own.
Right, swinging and
they have some sort of skill. I mean, the gorilla is going for sheer
and kick. They could kick.
I mean, sheer
More
brute
powerful.
strength.
No, I know.
And violence over what the men are, which is maybe tandem working together.
Working together, I think.
I think that gorilla is going to grab one dude, rip his arm off, and beat other people with it, and everyone's going to tap out. So, without weapons, and with it just being regular dudes,
like 100
of me, I'm saying gorilla 100 times out of 100. But if you give 100 men a chance to pick up a stone or a branch,
or the best of the best,
or you're putting
with
in
a plan too. They have to go in right with the plan.
Well, you have to assume they're going to talk about it and
drop
figure
them
it.
in your workplace, and then it's like, okay, Steve, come on, we gotta go.
And how many men can actually get on top of the gorilla? Right.
A lot. I think if you had a plan and you all worked together, like
you would need 20
it's
to
over there
you would
going
need
like
20
this.
to 40 guys.
Come on its back then when it's fighting these guys.
Come on its back. 723.
You know what I'm saying, though?
But then you only have half of your force left. And what are they going to do? They're just standing there because the gorilla's covered with dudes.
It's over here, and it's killing Steve, right? So it's doing this, and then while Steve is getting maimed,
the other thing is men
jump all in his back, and then you squish it down.
I don't think that men would do like the gorilla is a true wild animal. It will bite, it will kick, it doesn't care, right? Its only goal is to kill you, to eat you, to win the fight. The men, however, there may be some of that. I'm not going to bite a gorilla. You know what I mean? Like,
I think if you got it down like this, though, because it's distracted over there killing those, and then a bunch of people got it,
and then what?
And then you jump on it.
And then what? Then you got to
you pummel it. It's just
there's only so much surface area. You can only hit it with one guy's going to jump up and down on it.
Not one, a bunch.
I'm taking the gorilla again. If it's just 100 regular dudes with no weapons, I'm taking the gorilla.
And no plan?
Well, there's going to be a plan. Of course, we're speaking to each other. What are we going to do? I don't know. I'm going to stay in the back. Everybody wants to be in the back. Nobody wants to be in the front. But, again,
we're going to push Craig forward, and then we're all going to run.
The caveat to that is, again, if it's highly trained, like militarized dudes,
with a plan that the gorilla's coming and we've got to fight
you
it.
Still got to be, but you still have to be
dropped into the parking lot, and now we've got to do something. It's
I'm not leaving.
Gosh,
I am not leaving the building. I'm not going out there. I'm not one of those guys. I want nothing to do with the gorilla.
That's what I'm saying. It's just all of a sudden it's here, and it's just you and random people on the street got to run into.
Nope. I'm getting back.
Come on, guys, we gotta go. We gotta pick up this car and do something with this gorilla. No.
I think the only advantage you would have as a man is that the gorilla just doesn't care. You're just some form to him, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't understand your weak spots. As a man, they're all weak spots, right? Because we're fleshy and we're blubby and we're loose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the gorilla, like, it's muscly and it's big and it's tough and it's meant to exist outdoors and be in trees and fight other animals. So over generations, over time, it has genetically advanced itself to the point where it's almost unstoppable. However, it does have eyeballs. And if you can get one guy...
See, that's what I'm saying. It's over here killing Doug.
One guy to risk it all and put his arm in there with them teeth and those chompers.
Hey, Doug, go over there in the front.
And you could poke out an eye or something.
And then people from behind...
That might be the only way.
And then flatten it and jump on it.
One guy's got to get an eyeball. And after that, then maybe you got a shot.
I understand.
I don't think the dudes have a chance in hell. I really don't.
Well, I'm glad you're back from Nashville so we can talk about it.
What did you go with?
I don't know. I think if there's an organized plan and you know in advance, I mean, if it's just dropped on the street and you've got...
Here's a question. What if it's 100 women versus a gorilla?
Somebody said that? Is that the thing?
No, I'm asking because the question is, it's funny to me. Like, it's just funny that the question is because men are, our assumption is men are stronger and bigger and more violent and more prone to it.
Well, you just took all the MMA fighters, so what if I take all the...
You can take all the female MMA fighters, too. I'm saying, like...
I don't know, if Julie's willing to get... I'm seeing if there's a good distraction over there, and you have a plan. I think if it's just a random gorilla on the street and you've just got to work with whoever's around, I'm taking the gorilla. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, hey, the people walking down the street to go to the lacrosse center right now and somebody with a stroller. You know what I mean? Like us as just citizens working together. But if you have a plan, maybe,
they're far superior when it comes to violence.
And we know that, hey, you guys are going to be the sacrificial lambs, and they know that going into they're over here distracting it so you can get from, like I said, you come from behind, Brian, and then you jump on it, maybe you get the eyeballs, and they flatten it. You just push it down so flat.
Look, I've had several people reach out and say stuff about go for the genitals, which is what you would do in a fight against a man if your life was on the line.
Sure, anybody.
You would claw, kick, and bite and scratch and do everything. But don't you think that's just going to piss the gorilla off a little bit more? Like you're going to get in there and get your bare hands on gorilla dick and rip it off? Like you're strong enough to rip a gorilla's dick off? Give me an effing break, bro. That's never going to happen. That is never. Go ahead and try it and tell me how it works out for you, Steve. Well, nobody is putting their hands on that gorilla's junk or kicking him. He's just going to get even more pissed.
I'm killing over here, and then you underneath.
Do you know what happens to the Hulk when he gets madder? He gets bigger and stronger and more violent.
Hypothetical Thursday.
The gorilla's got two weaknesses: eyeballs and junk, and you're not getting anywhere near any of that stuff before he rips your face off.
Somebody's face off.
Oh, a lot of faces.
I'm in the way back.
I love dudes who think that they got a shot. Like they would legitimately think they had a chance. You'd see that gorilla bite off someone's face, and you would say, "See ya, I'm in Toledo tomorrow. I'm out of here. I'm getting out of town." Yeah, it's never gonna happen.
Gorilla dropped on the wrong block. Look at the time.
Dudes with the broccoli hair. I'm gonna go in there with broccoli hair dudes, and their socks and flip flops. No way. Give me an effing break. No guy with flip-flops and socks and broccoli hair is fighting a gorilla. He might tweet about it or TikTok it, but he ain't fighting a gorilla.
Sweet video.
Now, you want to talk about Tyson's like in his prime or some Dan Severin or Chuck Liddell or one of these guys?
The best of the best? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes. Then I definitely am putting my money on the dudes. But me and Scrady, give me a break. Sports coming up next.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find the daily podcast at rockmornings.com.
Optimist, 10 years. Rock Mornings, Brian and Gene. The Brewers losing to the Astros 9-1 yesterday. That snaps their 3-game winning streak. Brew Crew off today. In Tampa Bay tomorrow night, 6:05. First pitch for the first of three against the Tampa Bay Rays. Knicks over the Celtics again last night, 91-90. They now have a 2-0 lead in the Eastern Conference semifinals. In the late game, Thunder all over the Nuggets, 149-106. They take game two and tie up that series at 1 apiece. One game in the NBA tonight. It's the Warriors at the T-Wolves at 7:30 on TNT. The Warriors up 1-0. They'll be without Steph Curry for at least a week. Grade 1 left hamstring strain. NHL last night, the Maple Leafs up 2-0 on the Panthers now, thanks to a 4-3 win. Dallas Stars over the Winnipeg Jets 3-2. They take a 1-0 series lead. Carolina at Washington on the ice tonight, 6 p.m. on ESPN for Game 2 of that series. Hurricanes are up 1-0. Edmonton at Vegas at 8:30. ESPN Game 2 of that series. Oilers up 1-0. The Utah Hockey Club has a new name. Speaking of mammoths, the Utah Mammoth.
That's not bad. I like it.
After a 13-month process that included trademark drama and more than 850,000 ballots cast by fans and multiple rounds of voting, the Utah Mammoth revealed as the new name and permanent identity for the NHL expansion franchise yesterday. Love when teams do this. Change their name for a weekend, couple of games, right? We got the team in Wisconsin doing the euchre thing, right? Didn't the hockey team do that?
Usually for something fun or some sort of tribute.
That's what's happening here. The Memphis Redbirds, a minor league baseball team, have a new alternate identity. They will rebrand as the Memphis Barbecue Nachos. For next weekend, the 16th and 17th, they'll play in celebration of their best-selling concession item with a specialty hat and jersey. The president and GM of the team, Craig Unger, said barbecue nachos are synonymous with AutoZone Park. On the 25th anniversary of the park, it's only right for us to pay homage to a culinary creation as famous as the ballpark that introduced it to the world. As bold as Beale Street and as soul-stirring as the blues, barbecue nachos have earned their place on the Mount Rushmore of Memphis alongside Elvis, Penny Hardaway, and the Pyramid. On Friday the 16th, next week, the first 1,000 fans that are 21 and older will get a free Memphis spatula.
That's kind of fun.
And the first 1,500 fans on Saturday will get a barbecue nachos grilling shirt.
Also cool.
Memphis Redbirds changing into the Memphis barbecue nachos for a couple of games next weekend.
Did you know about the Brewers and the hot dog club thing? Did you hear about this?
They have a hot dog club? The Brewers do? No.
Well, it was in April. They did this Brewers hot dog club, so membership where fans could receive one complimentary hot dog at every home game through the regular season.
Okay.
So they pay $59.99, $60, I guess, and which is a deal if you go to a lot of the games. If you're a member and you're going to a lot of the games, well, it was supposed to be free, and then they get there and there's like a sales tax on them, so. They paid the $60 to be in the club, and then they're getting their free hot dog, and it's costing them 63 cents. Well, anyway,
people lost it.
Yeah, they're on the internet talking about this and that and the other thing. So the Brewers organization
figured it out.
Yeah, now they're taking care of the sales tax for everybody, so it actually is free. We were made aware of the sales tax issue during Friday's hot dog club launch. We have since implemented a fix to ensure the sales tax is not charged to our hot dog club members upon getting their free hot dog.
Yeah, you said free.
You said free. I paid the $60. You said free. They made them aware, and the Brewers organization fixed it. So that's good.
Sports on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. We'll get to some Volbeat in a couple of minutes, and Hypothetical Thursday continues with my question for Gene. We'll do that next.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Weekdays, 6 to 9.
Volbeat on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Hypothetical Thursday, and lots of texts.
Oh, I'm sure.
Feedback from the whole gorilla thing. Everybody's got an opinion on it. This is great. Somebody said Scott Steiner did Steiner math on the 100 men versus one gorilla.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. Do you even know what Steiner math is?
I don't.
Yeah, it's a wrestling thing from years ago.
Uh-huh.
Scott Steiner, Big Papa Pump, holla if you hear me.
Yeah.
Did some math live on the air, and it was interesting, to say the least. And it's a very famous wrestling promo that he cut many years ago.
Did some math.
And it's basically what I was saying. He said, here comes the math. Out of those 100 men, maybe 25% don't even show up once they see the gorilla. That's 25 cowards eliminated immediately. Then you've got 33 and a third % of them trying to take it out. They're done. Another 20% just stand there frozen, pissing their pants. Now you're left with about 21 guys panicked, half committed, and getting launched like lawn darts. But what if Big Papa Pump is in the mix? You just tip the freaking scale. Now it's not 100 men versus one gorilla. It's one gorilla versus the genetic freak. And that's what I was kind of saying.
Uh-huh.
You give me some of the best, and I'm not talking about Papa Pump, because the guy's, he's mostly just a weightlifter. Now, I don't want to fight him. I'm just saying that, like, you give me a legitimate fighter, like an MMA guy, some Marines, some specially trained special forces dudes, deltas and classifications and stuff. I'm taking those dudes. The other thing I didn't even think about, and I think this gets lost in the mix, everybody thinks that because it's a numbers game, you just swarm the gorilla. What if you're playing tactics where you're hitting and evading as best you can, and you're trying to confuse the gorilla and spin it around?
That's what I was saying.
And
like,
less of like a pile on, more of like you die by a million paper cuts, right? Death by a million paper cuts.
So you're like flies kind of coming in. And
so
like,
you get close, maybe you get tagged, but another guy comes up from behind him and kicks him or punches him or what, and like eventually you I don't know.
But you got to have a plan. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying, though. You can't just all go willy-nilly. Everybody has to be on board with the plan.
Mm-hmm.
And as Mike Tyson famously said, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face. And that's how I think it works with a gorilla. You're talking 400 pounds of muscle. Yeah.
Pop one head off.
One dude head come, and it's over. Plan over. There's no way. No way. I'd love to see it, though. I'd love to see a bunch of dude bros who think they're tough, bar time dude bros who got a couple of White Claws in them go after a gorilla and see them just get their heads popped off like a can opener.
Well, thanks for letting us know what your thoughts are, whether you're texting or reaching out somehow.
All right, here's my question for you. Hypothetical Thursday. This one's a little bit easier than the one I gave you a couple weeks ago with the whole killing somebody at random.
Okay.
You can only, and I don't want to have to go into too much explanation. You can only keep one piece of technology for the rest of your life.
Oh, brother.
You know what technology is, right?
Yes.
Phones, TVs, washing machines, anything that is essentially a plug-in thing that makes your life better. I would even include cars in that. Trains, planes.
Oh, God. Well, that's impossible.
You can keep one for the rest of your life. Everybody else gets to keep all their stuff. But you only have access and the ability to use one piece of technology for the rest of your life.
Can I ride in someone else's car? I just can't own one? Is that what you're saying?
I'll give you that.
Okay. Well, my gut reaction is the phone because that's how I communicate with my family, my mom, my kids even at this point, right? If I didn't have that, I
Going
don't
back to writing
smoke
letters.
signals and trying to get them to come home. How are you doing today? You know? You know, it's the connection to other human beings that you don't necessarily that live in your house. So my initial reaction is that. And of course now it has, you know, a recipe and all the answers to the infinite things on the internet,
pictures,
the universe.
Yeah, I mean,
it does
so many things.
So many things. But I don't want to wash my clothes by hand.
Oof.
And how do I clean up the pet hair if I don't have I guess I could sweep. I could probably get by with a broom versus a vacuum cleaner. I wouldn't like it, but I could survive. But I'm not like, this isn't happening with every piece of clothing.
Down at the river? I mean, you live close enough. You can walk down to the river.
And I have my mom's old washboard, you know,
Yeah, you can walk
hanging
down to
on
the river.
wall in the basement, not like actually
Take the borax, take the box of borax
and then
down to the
air dry
river.
everything in the winter.
Well, that's why you have a thing in the basement. You set it up in the basement. So it dries in the basement. That's what my dad did. He put up a clothesline in the basement.
Refrigerator? Is that in the list?
Yeah, technology.
Ugh. Well, see, now, I can't have an ice chest. What am I doing here?
Well, you get ice delivered by the Iceman.
No stove, no microwave.
No stove, no microwave.
Okay, no, the phone's out.
So you're getting rid of the phone.
How am I supposed to? I'm not starting a campfire. Do I have to work also? Or is this my job now, washing clothes?
Well, it sounds like it would be, based on how much laundry you do on a regular basis.
How I could go to the neighbor and have them open my cans. I could get by with, I guess, I would.
Well, you can do a manual can opener.
Oh, I could have that?
Yeah, that's not technology.
Okay.
Again, I think you understand what technology is when I say it.
I do. But I hadn't thought about the refrigerator and the stove and the microwave.
Well, if you dig a hole deep enough in the ground, you can stick your food in there. It's cold enough. I mean, you go to Niagara Cave, it's like 40 degrees in there year round.
I know. I've heard of this tell of such things where they would go out on the river and cut blocks of ice and then put it in their little closet outside, their ice thing, and put all their food in it. I don't want to do that, though.
Well, and you'd have to go to canning. You'd have to can everything so you could.
So I can't work. I have to take care of the homestead.
Yeah. You'd be a farm.
Okay,
well,
now I'm not working anymore. Is that
yeah, because canning food and doing laundry by hand is not working. Give me a break.
I'm really into my pressure washer right now.
Ask those Amish ladies. That's technology. You can't have your pressure washer.
I know. That's what
do
I was
that
just
by
gonna
hand. You'd be essentially Amish.
I'm having a love connection with my power washer right now.
Who
the
doesn't
best
in the
Mother's
spring?
Day gift I ever got, by the way.
Yeah, it was like the when I got my wife the paper shredder for Christmas.
I love
it was
that thing. I am really enjoying it right now, but I wouldn't keep that. I don't know. I don't know how to answer your question. There's too many things. My initial reaction was the phone because of my connection to people and all the things that it does. I was thinking, I'd look up a recipe for something I'd make for dinner tonight. But now I don't have a refrigerator or a stove.
You can cook. You have to create a fire.
I don't think I'm looking up the same kind of recipes, okay? They're way different kinds of recipes. Like, what can I cook for my underground ice box over my fire pit in the backyard?
You could have like one of those cool like non-bread oven things where you stick the bread on the side of the stone, the clay or whatever. Have a little fire going on. You'd be eating wood-fired pizzas in no time.
I don't know that I have an answer for you.
I would say phone just because of its autonomy in my life. You know what I mean? It's like always attached to my hand. I'm always on it. Games, connections to other people, weather. I mean, all the things that the phone offers you. Music, videos.
How are you? So you have a underground ice box for all of your things?
I'd figure it out.
I'd figure it out. I'd figure it out. Okay.
You just go buy an apple orchard and pick a couple apples. You're good. You can live off of apples and corn, fresh corn out of the
And the meat you just killed recently?
Yeah, I'd make
the
do.
shot and kill,
Make do.
skinned and dried.
I'd use my phone to DoorDash it. And I don't even like doing that stuff.
Eat Street, here I come.
So you don't know. You're saying you don't even have an answer.
No, I'm boggled. Can I have all the food delivered?
Yeah, you just can't use the fridge or the microwave, or the only thing you can use is one piece of technology. So yeah, if you're using your phone to have the food delivered,
I could just have food delivered all the time. Like that's now I got to go back to work because I got to afford the DoorDash and the Eat Street.
You could do a hand cleaned laundry service.
I don't want to. Yeah,
you could become.
I could have everything laundered out.
No, you do. You become a laundry lady, and people bring their laundry to you, and that's how you earn a living. You do it by hand.
Or I could send my laundry out because I don't have a washing dry. So I could give them my dirty clothes and then they could give me clean clothes.
Now you have to get a job because you have to pay for that.
A second job now.
Does anybody even do that anymore?
I don't know. But hey, business idea. Shark Tank.
The napping.
Nap store.
Napping laundry lady?
Yes.
All right. Hypothetical Thursday. We will bring Office Cora into the mix in just a bit.
I can't wait to hear what she says about the gorilla.
Yeah. Yeah, let's focus on that one when we get to Office Cora just a little bit after 8 o'clock. Rockmornings.com if you want to weigh in on any of our hypothetical questions. We'll get to bad news, happy music in a bit as well. Right now it's Hinder.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at rockmornings.com.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene, 8:15-ish on Thursdays. We're joined by the one and only Office Cora, back from New York. Is that what I heard?
Yes, I got back last night, and wow, I'm so tired.
What were you doing in New York?
You little world traveler, what are you doing?
I know.
Another boyfriend there? Another carpenter boyfriend taking you to meet his kids? Or what's the deal here?
I checked something huge off my bucket list. I got to see a Broadway play.
All right, so you and some friends went to New York?
Yes.
And what'd you see?
I saw Good Night and Good Luck, starring George Clooney, and I am 99% sure he made eye contact with me.
You're in love,
so that's a thing now.
It's a connection.
So did he make you an espresso, or like what's his commercial there with Nespresso? What did he make you one of those afterwards? No?
No, he just glanced her way. It's love. It's what it is.
Oh, it was more than a glance, Gene.
Okay. All right, so New York, we did a Broadway show. What else did we do while we were in the Big Apple?
Oh, I did it all. I took a
Cora does the Big Apple.
chop out of that. I did like a Manhattan boat tour, like all the way around. I walked the High Line. I walked pretty much all of Manhattan. I went to a Cinco de Mayo party in, I guess I don't really know where that was, but we found
safe,
one.
very safe. Sounds safe.
It's the biggest Cinco de Mayo party in all of New York City. And everywhere I went, I just ran into the most interesting people.
That sounds like you.
I think you might be a magnet to the most interesting people in the world, is what I think it is, Cora.
What was your favorite food item from the big city?
Did you have,
did you have a falafel? Or did you
bagel?
Did you have a New York bagel? What'd you get?
Some pastrami?
I pretty much had all of that, and I had a slice of New York pizza, and I don't know why I went weird topping. It was one of those pizza places where they have 50 different kinds.
Yep.
And I picked the one that had chicken and broccoli. You know, that's weird.
That is weird. You know, there's like
But I did the whole thing where, they fold it in half.
Sausage.
And that's how they eat it.
Yeah. You get the big slice, you fold it and all.
Broccoli.
I had cheesecake.
All right, let's not talk food with you because I get infuriated when people don't do things normally.
Yeah.
And
It sounds like you had some delicious things. Let just leave it like that. 50 different topics and she picks broccoli.
Did you have any?
Okay.
Was there any issues? Any kerfluffles? Any Uber issues? Did you leave something behind? Was there any?
Everything just worked out.
Took cabs and
kind of funny
public transport.
We got to the hotel really early, like 10 o'clock in the morning, and checked our bags because the room wasn't ready.
Sure.
And didn't get back until almost midnight. They were worried, like, what happened to these
Thought you got
people?
abducted? You were being trafficked? Well, I'm glad you had a good time and made it back safely. Office Cora on the phone with us, as she is every Thursday. And we play Hypothetical Thursday and ask each other questions. And the big one this morning between the two of us was the one Gene asked me. I was in Nashville last week to see Metallica, so we didn't get to play.
Ooh.
And last week on the internet, there was a very viral discussion about 100 Men versus the Gorilla. Did you see this?
No.
Why am I not surprised? So it started, I believe, on barstoolsports.com, and the question was, who would win in a fight? 100 men, just bare hands, no weapons, no guns, none of that, versus one gorilla.
What do you think, Cora?
And who would you take in that fight?
Gosh, gorillas are just so massive. I'm gonna pick the 100 men. I just think they got a chance. I think they got a really good chance.
Well, some of them do. The others don't have faces. They're faceless.
Because it's 100 people all together, not like a one at a time.
Yeah, but here's the deal. What if so let's just put this in perspective. What if the gorilla gets dropped in the parking lot of where you're working right now?
And then 100 people that you work with that you don't.
And 100 people from your building and around the parking lot, whoever you can find.
Regular dudes.
Regular people mowing their lawn or stopping at Walgreens to get their prescription.
Let's say Tripper. Let's say Tripper.
Tripper has to come. He's part of it, Lynn, it's you, and it's all that.
Then it'd be gorilla all day long.
Yeah, see, that's what we're saying. Yeah, I think so.
That's my thought. Now, again, if you have professional fighters, MMA dudes, military dudes,
if you can pick your 100,
then I'm going humans. Because again, you can come up with a scheme. You can figure it out. Tactical. If you took 100 Marines and they'd kill that gorilla in 10 seconds.
Yeah, but Cora, like her running out there, what's she going to do?
She would ask the gorilla to live with her. Yeah. She'd say, I got a spare room. You want to live in it? That's what she would do.
I forgot to tell you something else that happened in New York City.
Uh-oh.
Went to the Guggenheim, but on the way we passed the Met, and there was like something going down, and the security were just like, oh yeah, it's like some schwanky thing
famous
where
person.
the people have to pay $75,000.
Yeah, it's the Met Gala
invitation. Yeah, the Met Gala.
Yeah,
like Madonna, the Kardashian, all the people.
Yeah,
it was pretty.
Did you see any of them, or you just saw like a commotion?
Well, both. I saw when people were actually making their big entrance, I went by on a bus. So I had prime viewing right onto the steps.
Got it.
Well, I'm glad again that you had a good trip to New York. Welcome back to the state of Wisconsin, a little less shiny.
Ooh, can I ask you my hypothetical question?
Yeah, of course. Go for it.
Okay, if you met a clone of yourself, do you think you'd be friends?
This is right up Gene's alley. Of course, Gene would be.
Yeah, we'd be best buds.
She'd make that clone do all her housework.
Yes. Yeah, we'd split tasks.
I don't.
They could take the dusting, and
I couldn't be
do the
friends
vacuuming.
I couldn't be friends with another me.
You couldn't?
Oh, I'm an a-hole, and I'm too particular.
Man, we could get some stuff done. You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't want the clone doing what I would say the clone was doing something wrong, even though it was doing it exactly the way I want it done.
Totally get some stuff. Can you imagine, Cora, what I could knock
You're
out?
You're not vacuuming it properly. Yeah. You're not filling out the dishwasher the right way.
No, but I know how to do it.
I know, but I'd still be mad at the clone for not doing it right.
Look at that.
It'd be like
power washing that fence like a champ.
Friends.
Yes, I'd be friends.
No. The point of having friends is having people that you're similar to, but there's also some difference, right? There's a little bit of,
Yeah, the parts that annoy you about them because they're different.
Yeah, but I don't want to be friends with another me.
Doesn't mean you can't have other friends. She didn't say that. She didn't say your only friend in the world can be you.
I'm too particular. I know I couldn't be friends with me. I'm not a good person either.
Yeah, but then your clone wouldn't be either. So then you'd have that in common.
But then I'd sit there and be like, look at this bastard. Look at this.
Another a-hole.
Right.
Exactly.
I know. I would judge them and I'd be like, I don't want to hang out with this guy.
Yeah, but then think about how much they could get into Boston sports with you. Like, then you could sit around and watch sports and talk about that, and then they care.
Then it's like, go home, dude. Like, I don't want you here all the time.
No, I live here.
It's
a shadow.
Look,
it's a mini-me.
I have one best friend, and that's all I need.
Aww.
Your best friend roster is full.
Yeah, I don't think I could be I mean, maybe like casual. I don't know, like But I don't want to fangirl over a friend. Like,
hey, do you want to go to Starbucks and get a strawberry acai? I do, as a matter of fact. How did you know? That's exactly what I want to do right now.
No.
All right, Cora. What are you doing this weekend at the 715? It's Mother's Day weekend.
Yes, I am celebrating my mama like all weekend. She's going to be the queen. And it also, tomorrow, Food Truck Friday returns. This is the long-awaited, Phil and I are very excited. It's a good time. There's like 10 or 11 food trucks, and they show up around Riverfront Terrace.
That's awesome.
In Phoenix Park. It's 11 to 7 every Friday throughout the summer. So they're back.
That's awesome.
And the 22nd annual The Past here. It's kind of like a journey in time, hands-on activities, historic displays. And that is at Marshall Park in Chippewa Falls. And that is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Whoa.
So I'm going to check that out.
What's your next big trip? Now that you've gone to New York and you've gone to Texas, where are you going next?
Nashville. She went to Nashville.
Went to Nashville, that's right, yep.
Well, I don't know. I kind of am just going to hang out here for the summer. Summertime in the Chippewa Valley is pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
I'll be leaving.
Office Cora, always a pleasure to talk to you on Thursday mornings. Thank you very much for joining us. I hope you get some rest. And
Thank you.
We'll talk to you again in a week from now.
Sounds perfect. Have a good day, guys.
Text from, God damn it, this place.
Somebody texted in.
Johnny Beavers.
It's been a while,
the
hasn't
Wild
it?
Man. He said, hey, Brian and Gene, this is the Wild Man. Just wishing all the mothers out there have a great weekend. And you too, Gene. They always told me that moms are the backbone of America. He also said, Brian, you're a good person. Don't sell yourself short. I think you're awesome, dude. You don't know me that well. I am not a good person.
Yeah, you are.
Mm-mm. Courtney said, I'm with you, Brian. Nobody can do things exactly how I want it but me. Even my clone. I would still be like, no, dude, you're not loading the dishwasher.
You wouldn't, but they know how to do it exactly like you want it. That's the thing.
I'd still get annoyed. Then I'd be annoyed that they were copying me. Like, why are you copying me?
I'm not copying you. I am you.
Then I'd have to kill you. You don't want a clone.
Yeah, but then they do things that they think it's funny. It would be intrinsically funny because the things that are funny to you would be funny to them. So they would do funny things.
I don't do anything funny. I laugh at stuff when it's funny, like people getting hurt.
I don't know. The time you kicked out the door thing because you were a ninja at 2 a.m. is pretty funny.
You weren't even here.
Your mad ninja skills.
It wasn't funny. It was the repercussions were the funny part.
No,
missed a record.
The you kicking out a door thing.
Was there a karate class here last night?
That's funny.
That's funny. Not what I did. What I did was violent and destructive.
Yeah, but goofy looking.
Frank texted in, said, the hell with 100 men. All you need is one Chuck Norris. Alex said the 100 men would win with an 85% casualty rate. I'm going gorilla. Unless it's professional fighters or Marines. I'm going gorilla. If it's just a bunch of people that look and think and act like me, no chance. That gorilla's killing all of us. I actually Googled this because I was interested to see what an actual gorilla expert had to say. Tara Stoinski, the president, CEO, and chief scientific officer for the Diane Fossey Gorilla Fund. This is the lady, the Coco lady, right?
Yes.
So she knows something about gorillas. She's got 3 titles: president, CEO, and chief scientific officer.
Sure.
She knows a little bit about gorillas. She said the male gorilla comes with all of his size and strength, 400 pounds of pure muscle, incredible jaw strength, just a very intimidating demeanor. I think, though, that in this case, it's a numbers game. With 100 men coming after one gorilla, they just have a lot of strategies that they could use to wear the gorilla down, to tire them out. They can coordinate their behavior.
Okay.
They can take turns.
Okay.
She said he'd probably take out a number of humans in the fight.
Yes.
They wouldn't go unscathed. I think that the numbers just work in the humans' favor.
Yeah, so some of them are sacrificial lambs, and then by the end, the remaining people have a plan.
You got to wait for it to fall asleep or something. You got to wait for it to just kind of give up and say, I'm tired. I've had enough, boss, whatever the case is.
Again, I think it depends on the where, how, when, and the people around.
I'm still going gorilla. I want no part of that. Bad News, Happy Music is coming up.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. More from Brian and Gene is coming up.
You're about to enter a beautiful, exciting, wonderful new world.
A cockroach living in your nostril. Now that's just nasty. Add in some haven't pooped for 30 days.
Poop is raining from the ceilings. Poop.
And sprinkle in some hashtag Florida Man for flavor.
Florida man.
Florida man.
Florida man. Florida man. Florida man.
Florida man.
Florida man quits his Burger King job, steals all of their chicken nuggets.
It's bad news.
Bad news.
With happy music.
Let's rock.
The latest TikTok trend.
Which one?
Kids shoving sharp objects into their Chromebook ports to set them on fire.
It's more than just a trend. You know, it causes a lot of disruption.
It became clear that the damage was done intentionally, that it wasn't a malfunctioning Chromebook, but rather a student had intentionally done things to it that caused it to smoke and eventually melt.
The batteries that are essentially catching on fire, once they burn, they're producing this toxic smoke.
So back in the day, people were sticking forks and knives into electrical outlets, and now it's sticking sharp objects into the ports of your Chromebook at school, which apparently is causing school evacuations across the country. Including Westby, I guess, yesterday.
Yeah,
30 minutes down the road.
Well, I hadn't heard about that.
Well, this audio is from Connecticut. Students recording themselves sticking items like pencils and springs into the charging ports of their Chromebooks and setting them on fire. Newington High School evacuated last week due to the trend. Dr. Maureen Brummett, the superintendent of the public schools district down there, said on Thursday, I was alerted by both my director of security and high school principal that we had a Chromebook that was smoking.
Yes! Look what I have created! I have made fire!
We were able to do an investigation with student interviews and other methods that we use, and it became clear that the damage was done intentionally. This is that it wasn't a malfunctioning Chromebook, but rather a student had intentionally done things to it that caused it to smoke and eventually melt.
Okay, but I could set the building on fire.
And these were, I suppose it doesn't matter, but these were school-provided computers or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Within a parent's insurance policy probably on them.
Yeah, that's nice. That's good stuff. Another issue that's apparently plaguing some of the bigger cities in America is squatters.
Yeah, that's been a thing for a long time.
A Chicago man said that he did the unthinkable. When he discovered alleged squatters in his property, he decided to move in with them.
Yeah, didn't he, move in?
Yeah,
It's my
and apparently
property.
was bringing his buddies over and making it which is... Look, I'm going in there and I'm cleaning house in a much more violent way. I'm not moving in and being nice about it and trying to play, mental warfare here.
But you've heard of those situations where people have bought a house and then they can't get the people out of it.
We had that Zillow listing, right? Where it was like, you're responsible for getting the lady out. You buy the place in Milwaukee that we talked about a few weeks ago. You can have it. It's cheap. But your responsibility for getting that lady out. Marco Velazquez, the owner of a property on the south side of Chicago, which is on the market to be sold. He said his realtor came by with a potential buyer, but there were already people inside. Said, I couldn't believe it. It was like a nightmare.
I said, I'm not moving out. And I said, at the one point, they got to leave. They got to get tired of us being in the property. I called a couple of friends, stay overnight. And I knew they were not going to like that. We stayed in the living room. We were watching all the time the door. They stayed in one of the bedrooms. We didn't want to give them money, but we heard, really bad stories about squatters taking over properties.
This guy says a woman named Shermaine and her boyfriend Kadaro apparently moved in and claimed that they recently purchased the property. He says the couple showed police a mortgage document, but Cook County confirmed that they did not see that mortgage on record. His realtor recorded a video as the couple explained to police that they had a right to be there. The worst thing happened when the police told me they couldn't do anything. It needs to go to civil court. He said, I'm not going to leave. Called a couple of friends, stayed overnight. I knew they were not going to like that. Velasquez says that he, his wife, and their friends spent the night with the alleged squatters. We stayed in the living room watching the door. They stayed in one of the bedrooms. Stayed the whole night with them. The next morning, he realized they were not budging. They were like, we want $8,000 of what we paid so we can leave your property. Says they ended up negotiating, had the couple sign a cash for key agreement, and paid them $4,300 to leave. That sounds like a good job. I might have to quit radio. I got to quit radio and start squatting.
I don't understand how they
I move into someone's house. They can't legally kick me out. The cops can't do anything. And then I'll say, hey, look, I'll leave for half of what I paid for.
I'll give you the key back, and I'll pack my stuff if you just give me some cash.
Bro, that's my dream job. Make people. I get to make people uncomfortable. I get money out of the gig.
Yeah,
and I get to move around and see the sights. It's great.
So they're looking for like recent sales.
Yeah, my guess is they're looking for places that are on the market.
Yeah,
and they just go in there and take up residence. And again, it sounds like in a lot of these places, the cops can't legally do anything.
It's more for the courts than it is for the police department.
And the person trying to sell the home is trying to sell the home. They don't want to go to civil court and deal with all that and lawyer fees and everything. So $4,300 probably saved that guy $20,000 in court costs and lawyer fees. What a time to be alive, Gene. It's like that guy that applies for all those jobs and then sues people because there's loopholes in the application process. Crazy. There's a town in Turkey, a Turkish town. It's called Lice, L-I-C-E. I don't know if it's pronounced Lice, but it's spelled Lice, which you're familiar with.
Yes.
Horrific. Well, this has nothing to do with lice other than the town, which is named Lice, and it has about 25,000 people in it, and they all got high at the same time.
On purpose?
It was not a festival. It was not like a 420 thing.
Was this a world record? They were going for a world record?
The authorities burned more than 20 tons of seized cannabis in the town center. Not out on the outskirts, not in the jungle somewhere. In the middle of town.
Right in here. Come on.
Right in the middle of downtown.
Downtown.
Again, this is a town half the size of La Crosse where we live. 25,000 people.
The square. Come on down. Everybody come to the square.
And they're burning a bunch, 20 tons of cannabis they seized. And they burned it up.
I know you don't smoke weed. I know this. But I'm going to get you high today. Because it's Friday, you ain't got no job, and you ain't got to do.
This happened back on the 18th of April, so a couple of days before 420. People say the air became thick with weed smoke for 5 days, forcing residents to keep their windows closed and avoid going outside.
So, Ahab, can I find my doobage?
Officials didn't burn the weed in an incinerator. What they apparently did was, and there's pictures of this, they arranged the bags in the shape of the letters of the town, L-I-C-E. And then they set them on fire. Like some sort of Batman signal from the Dark Knight. Unclear whose bright idea that belonged to, but the marijuana that had been confiscated over the previous 2 years was apparently valued at more than $261 million in U.S. money.
When I was in England, I experimented with marijuana a time or two, and I didn't like it. And didn't inhale and never tried it again.
Well, those people inhaled. They had no choice.
They didn't have a choice.
You know what $261 million could do to the infrastructure of a town of 25,000 people? I mean, like...
It could better their lives.
That stuff is legal in certain places. I get it, right? You don't want it in your community, but man, you could maybe make a couple of bucks on that and then maybe improve the roads. Improve the roads, maybe put in a stoplight. Get yourself a subway. I don't know. Like something. Get a nice little water fountain down there at the park where you burn all this weed. But yeah, everybody in town apparently got high. 5 days of smoke.
I was just going to say that's
a lot of weed.
It lingered.
20 tons.
You a pothead, fucker?
I am now.
I am. Ask the police commissioner about it.
This is a very interesting story. A company recently had to pay a woman $40,000 because one of her coworkers compared her to Darth Vader.
The company paid her?
Lawsuit, obviously.
Yeah.
So this is in England, and a woman named Lorna Rook, working as a supervisor at a blood donation center back in 2021. A handful of people on her team apparently took an online personality test for fun. what spice are you? What kind of bread are you? What kind of pasta are you? One of these stupid things, right? It was a Myers-Briggs test with a Star Wars theme. The kind of thing you see on BuzzFeed.com, one of these goofy stuff. You know, which Star Wars character are you? She was on the phone, apparently at the time, and didn't take the test herself. So the coworkers filled in her answers. Then announced to everyone that Lorna, according to the test, the online test, the personality test, based on what answers they plugged into the computer, into the system, said that Lorna had a Vader-like personality. The test spun it in a good way, however, saying that being a Darth Vader meant you had a very focused individual who could bring teams together. However, Lorna, of course, didn't feel that way about the whole thing because, as we know, Darth Vader's kind of the bad guy. Said it made her feel unpopular at work, and she quit the very next month and filed a lawsuit. So I don't know if they were, like, chasing her around and doing the forced choke, or breathing weird around her, or what the hell they were doing. A judge just heard the case and basically ruled that it created a hostile work environment. They said Darth Vader is a legendary villain of the Star Wars series, and being aligned with his personality is insulting, and they gave her just about $40,000.
Holy cow.
In compensation.
I have a bad feeling about this.
I've got a bad feeling about this.
I have a bad feeling about this. I have a very bad feeling about this.
I got a bad feeling about this.
I have a bad feeling about this.
I have a bad feeling about this.
I have a really bad feeling about this.
I don't even know what to say about that.
Now I want to do that as a job.
I know.
I want to get accused of being Darth Vader and get $40,000 out of the deal.
I don't know if it's because they took the personality test for her, you know, as kind of like a joke, and they had a bad relationship from the beginning, so they were answering the questions so it would come out that she's villainous.
Not
or
a lot
if it's
of info.
just that, yeah, because I mean, maybe then, like, hey, we're gonna, you know, these are the things we really think about you, and so then she knew everybody thought about her. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Hashtag Florida woman. You know we'd have a Florida person in here somewhere. Bad news, happy music. Hashtag Florida woman. 39-year-old Florida woman named Allison Swan.
Pants on the ground?
We're getting to pants.
There's pants involved.
There is pants.
Okay.
There's pants and there's nachos.
Oh, man.
And a lesbian couple.
Is there an alligator? This story has everything.
All right, Stefan. Facing battery charges for allegedly attacking her wife with a fistful of nachos. This happened at their home in Port St. Lucie on Saturday at about 3 in the morning.
Like fistful of chips?
This is when all the good stuff happens, at 3 in the morning.
Not a plate of nachos, but fistfuls?
I'm guessing that based on the story here, Allison playing video games in the living room and saw her wife making nachos in the kitchen at 3 a.m. What's going on when you're making nachos at 3 a.m.? Maybe coming home afterwards from a night of partying. Nachos is very involved.
You got to melt the cheese. I don't know if you're putting
Well, you're
veggies
putting all
on
the stuff on it. What about meat? And I mean, maybe you already had that stuff. But it seems like you'd just go pizza or something out of the fridge. You know what I mean?
Oh, she had hankering.
The wife told police that Allison told her it was too late to eat and then made a comment about her weight. So even lesbians are mean to each other about their weight and their bodies? I thought you guys were all good. I thought you were nice to each other.
They're spouses. It can happen.
Ugh.
Hey, fatty, it's 3 a.m.
Hey,
you sure you want those nachos?
Tubbs. Hey, Tubbs, I'm Crockett, you're Tubbs, and you're eating too many goddamn nachos. How about that?
Oh.
Allison apparently then grabbed a handful of cheesy nachos and shoved them right down the back of her wife's pants.
I'm pretty good in the pants department.
Well, she was not good in the pants department because she had a bunch of nachos with cheese. Well, I'm assuming it was hot cheese.
Okay,
because you don't put the cold cheese on and then heat it up. You heat up the cheese and put it on the nachos, right?
Then what?
As she was changing into her new pants, Allison then attacked her, pushed her against the wall, slammed her head into the floor. Then she ended up with a knot on her forehead. Better not mention that again. She also said Allison held her down and used her fingers to fish hook her by the cheeks while telling her that she was the one in charge.
That sounds like they need some counseling. Because Allison that got the fish hooked on her she was the one saying, hey,
the
Tubby.
victim is the tubby one that likes nachos at 3 a.m.
The victim is the one that likes nachos?
Yeah, she was making nachos, and then the gaming wife came in and shoved the nachos in her pants, and then beat her up, and then fish hooked her.
Oh, yeah, you got
and said, I'm in charge.
You got to get out of there.
Yeah, the wife needs to get the hell out of there. She needs to go to a center or something. At some point during the altercation, the wife
called the police.
Was able to call a friend. They called the police. who then showed up and arrested Allison for domestic battery. She tried to claim that her wife was just drunk and rolled around in the nachos after throwing them against the wall. But parts of the story did not add up because the cops actually found nacho cheese inside the woman's pants rather than on the outside.
Rolling around.
Not allowed to have any contact with her wife now. They do live together. Police said she could get her stuff and then move out, go somewhere else. But they might also work together because they're apparently both registered nurses.
It's nacho cheese.
You know how that cheese doesn't belong to you?
Yeah, it's nacho.
Nacho cheese.
It's not.
Last but not least, bad news, happy music. This one's fun. This is good. Not a lot of info on this story, but it's just really fun to tell. A couple of people in Connecticut are in trouble and arrested for prostitution, and they made it very easy on the police. They were caught because they were in a sports car. They don't say what kind of sports car. Corvette or Mustang or
in
otherwise.
In a park? Public park?
Nope.
Side of the road?
Nope.
Parking lot of a store?
Closer. Broad daylight, 12:30 in the afternoon, getting it on inside the sports car, blocking the driveway to the police station. Cop tried to pull into the parking lot, maybe shift change, maybe had somebody in the back.
Like on the curb, like this way blocking it? Like they just were a little bit over the...
Couldn't get into the parking lot. Let's just say their car was parked in such a way that the cop could not get into the parking lot.
Yeah.
So
it's probably a back driveway somewhere on the other side of the block, and it connects to the parking lot, and they just pulled up next to the curb, and they didn't see the entrance there.
Officers saw the parked car, approached the parked car, saw what was happening inside because they were in the midst of the passion. Told the people to get themselves under control and step outside the vehicle. 34-year-old man, 48-year-old woman arrested. In addition to the lewdness, they were also hit with DUI, drug charges, and improper parking.
You remind me of my sister. Are you also a prostitute?
One of them was. Boy, that mugshot.
That was a lot of things happening at 12:30 in the afternoon with the drunk and the thing and the.
That's about $20 worth of prostitute right there.
Is it?
I don't know for a fact, but if yeah.
Round up.
Come on over.
Round
Here.
up.
Come on over here. Tell me how much. Is that about $20? $30 maybe.
Sports car though. I mean,
he probably had the sports car.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And the cash.
Well, $20 is $20.
When the need strikes, Brian.
Bad news, happy music on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. We'll get to your check-ins after Green Day.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at rockmornings.com. Call.
Hello.
Email.
I tried emailing you.
Text. So many ways to check in with us. Check. We rely on you guys for traffic updates, requests, and all sorts of other stuff.
Check this out.
Rockmornings.com. Head there for all of our contact info and get in touch with us. Love to hear from you guys. Got an email from Matt. The subject was Terminator with a couple of question marks. And it was the video of the robot freaking out from earlier this week. He said, "It begins. Have you seen this yet?" And I said, yeah, we talked about it on Monday. AI robot in some Chinese factory.
Freaking out.
Yeah, that's putting it lightly. Hanging off a construction crane and just starts swinging and then advancing towards the human. Danny texted in and said, if you haven't watched It's Florida Man on the HBO app, hilarious real Florida stories reenacted by comedians. All right. I'm going to check that out. Jake texted in and said, my only thing about squatting is how it is not trespassing because until the home is closed, it's still owned by the previous people and I am a realtor.
I don't get it.
Look, everything about squatting makes no sense to me. How it's possible that someone can, without any sort of legality, break in essentially to your home or a property that you own and then claim residence, and it has to go to court before anything can get done. And that's why I say, that's why you don't call the cops or anybody. You just take care of it yourself.
I don't understand how they can become like the bona fide owner of a property that isn't theirs without
perfect example. We just went to Nashville, right?
Yeah.
If I came home and someone was in my house, I'm not calling the cops. You're going to leave because I'm going to get my gun and I'm going to shoot you unless you leave on your own accord.
But I don't. So
I'm not calling them until after the shooting.
Well, I would, but then what? So then just because they came in.
Then they're out of my house.
I don't understand how that becomes a thing.
Boggles my mind.
I don't get it. Because in that regard, is it only when it's empty houses? Because if you came home, I mean, the police could do something about that then. If they were in.
Could they?
Yeah, because they'd be like.
Well, breaking and entering is different. You come in, you steal stuff, and you leave. But if they are in the house and they are sitting there.
Breaking and entering.
Is it?
I think then the police could do something about. We have police cops. We should ask them.
We have police cops.
Friends, I meant. We have.
Don't make me laugh. It's already hard enough for me to breathe.
We have police cop friends. Ask them. I mean, I think that's breaking and entering. And if they're still in there, because we've heard stories. People break in, they make a pizza, right? And they take a shower, and they're hanging out.
Yeah,
those people get arrested.
Drunk guy went in the wrong house.
Yeah, those people can get arrested. I don't understand. Does it have to be
Well, I think it's
vacant?
they're like trying to claim residence. And they're trying to...
So it has to be not someone's house.
Lucas texting in said, sticking stuff into computers isn't new. We used to do that in the school computer labs. LOL, kids being dumb. Yeah, well, that's what I said. I prefaced it with, we used to do that with outlets. I mean, I didn't, but like...
It was a thing.
I used to take gunpowder from my dad's reloading room and try to start fires and make explosives with it. So, yeah, kids have been dumb since day one. That's nothing new. But this is the newest thing, is what I'm saying.
It's a new way to be dumb.
Jacob said it's a good thing there's only one Brian Simpson. Probably, my mom used to say they broke the mold.
Okay, so abandoned or vacant property without permission. So it's vacant.
So if you're living in it,
yes,
and they go in, then you can get them. But if it's abandoned or vacant.
Yeah, so like if the house for sale down your block doesn't have anybody in it, you can just go
and then you can get $4,300 out of them for the key. Here you go. Here's the key. $4,300. Thank you very much. Office Cora might have a situation on her hands. She's got strangers living in her house, and they actually legitimately
They
live
could
there.
lock her out.
Well, they could just say, no, this is our house now. And what are you going to do about it? That stuff is so great. That's why you don't want people in your house, man. I don't want none of that. I don't want to deal with all that. That's a headache. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang works real fast. It gets the problem solved. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
We had a ton of texts and messages about the gorilla and all that stuff. I don't have a ton of time to get to it, but thank you very much for all the correspondence this morning. We truly appreciate it. Have a great rest of your Thursday. Get out and enjoy the weather. We'll talk to you tomorrow.